Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back, friends. Today, we have a lot to catch up on. We are going to focus today on my recent trip to Acadia, Maine. And I also just so happened to get a box in the mail today. Fancy that. So we're going to play with some of this new makeup from Give Them Lala Beauty, which I'm very excited about. I have plans for this, but I figured why not just play around with it today. So we won't go too in depth with products. Again, everything will be listed and linked down below. But if you want to catch up, hear about my trip, I have so much to talk about, then I hope that you'll stick around, hang out, and let's dive right in. I'll be honest, I don't know if my eye contact was super weird in that intro clip because it has been 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks since I filmed, which feels absolutely crazy, maybe even 3. I have really bad time perception, but it has been a while. And it's going to be a long one, so settle in, grab a drink, whatever you want, and we're going to dive in. I fully need to do skin prep. I have a body product that I want to demo and talk about, and then I severely need to clean up my eyebrows. So we're going to just be hanging out today, talking makeup. And I also wanted to say I got my computer and I'm so excited about it. And it's going to help me in the video that I am going to film next, which is all of the outfits that I wore on my trip and just outfits recently. So stay tuned for that, but she's gonna hang out in the background here. But let me grab my skin prep and my eyebrow razor and we'll dive into the trip itself. All right, so to kick us off, Fitglow Beauty Ceramide Toning Mist. I'm just gonna redampen my skin and then moisturize with Submerge, and then I'll go in and kind of detail my brows. I have a whole video on how I do this, so I'm just gonna be talking through it today, but if you're interested in that, I will link that down below. Whether it's morning or it's mid-afternoon or evening, that spray, oh, it just feels so good to hydrate my face. I know everyone with dry skin can understand that, but I'm gonna try my hardest today to stay on task and talk about Acadia. There's one comment in specific that I really want to bring up on my laptop and talk through, because I think it had a lot of really good questions that I would love to kind of share my answer to all of you rather than just a comment. So I've got my razor, and I don't know if any of the makeup that I brought up, there we go, has a mirror. We have struck gold. So for those of you who may not know or didn't see the videos, I recently went on a week vacation to Acadia, Maine. So where the national park is. Oh my goodness, we're in for it today, I'm telling you folks. And we stayed pretty much right in Bar Harbor. We went with my husband's family. I feel so incredibly blessed to have married into the family that I did, because it just is a perfect fit, like a glove. It basically is like my dad's side if I were my dad's generation, if that makes sense. Like, my dad was one of 4, my husband is one of 4, huge family gatherings and holidays, and that's what I grew up going to at my grandmother's with all my cousins and stuff. A lot of my cousins were my best friend. Brittany's always watching, so shout out Brittany, I love you, girl. And I feel so fortunate that I married into a family as loving and kind of caring and giving and adventuring as my husband's family. So we went with his aunt, uncle, their 2 kids and their kids' partners, and it was such a match made in heaven. We did so many like really fun family hikes, and some of them were really challenging. And my aunt, I'm going to call her my aunt because my husband's family is my family. My aunt just recently had her hip replaced in the last year, and for her to be out doing some of the hikes that she did is just absolutely incredible. And I'm so proud of her, and it's just kind of, it's so reassuring to have role models in your life like that who show you that, you know, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And I've always really appreciated her in a lot of other aspects in life, but this was just yet again another example of how she is just an incredible woman, and I should be so lucky to be like her at some point. There's going to be tangents, and I'm slightly green, and we're just dealing, you know? So I just moisturize with Verdant Forcefield. Today, I'm going to do a base that I've been doing recently, and it is slightly different from my normal base. So I have noticed the Causemetics CC Cream Original, which I've been using, that's buried deep in my makeup bag, is a little too dewy for me, especially when I wear the Live Tinted 3-in-1 Hue Guard. This is a very kind of dewy sunscreen, and while I typically really love that, especially under some of my more kind of like satiny finish products, I have really been loving breaking out an oldie but a goodie, the Dr. Dennis Gross Dark Spot Sun Defense Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 50. I love this product, and I really depend on this product when I want a very strong physical sunscreen. Now, this is for sure going to leave a white cast if you have any depth to your skin whatsoever. I don't really, so I can get away with it. But if you're super fair and you don't mind a little bit of white cast, I absolutely love this product. And it does give a little bit more of a matte finish. Now, I don't want that to scare anyone with dry skin. I have very dry skin. I mean, look at the white cast, first of all. I have very dry skin, and although this gives more of a matte finish, it's not like sucking the life out of my skin. It's still actually very moisturizing, and the smell is so interesting. It honestly reminds me of some of the like medical grade skincare that I used when I was getting chemical peels back in the day. But yeah, see, a bit of a cast, but I honestly don't mind that. And it looks quite dewy now, but it will dry down into something slightly more matte, not powder matte is what I'm getting at. Also, my hair. I've fought with how I wanted to put it back. That's a whole other topic. Also, this dress, you can't really see it, but it is such a childish thing to do. It's like a crochet dress. It's from Target's recent collaboration with, I'll pop on the screen. I love it. I got mine in extra large. It is perfectly fitted for my measurements now. Whole other video. Anyway, I'm going to let this sink in just a minute. While that is sinking in, back to trip. So we went on a lot of like family hikes, and some of them were quite challenging. And then we also did some more challenging things with a few who decided that they wanted to go. We have now dubbed my husband Adventure Kev because he was always up for whatever level of challenge hike, and also he just looked the part. Like, it's so perfect. I'll be popping pictures up if I can remember, but Adventure Kev is now my husband, and I love it so much. So we did some really difficult hikes. So if you go to Acadia, definitely recommend staying in Bar Harbor. There were so many cute little shops and places to eat and stuff. And then you're basically in the park. It's not one of the national parks where you have to drive a lengthy amount of time to get into the park, which is nice. I think the time that we went, so the first half of the week was kind of rainy, and that definitely can cause some issues at Acadia as opposed to other parks. So I love going to all these places and seeing the different types of landscape. It's pretty crazy how large how large the United States is and how many different environments there are. We've been to quite a few, but we haven't made it to the desert, so it's not fully sunk in, but as much as I'm still dewy, just wait until you see me apply. So I just put some It CC cream on my finger, and if you see me look off to the side, it's my main mirror. I'm working on the whole setup, you know. It's not quite perfect. But anyway, very interesting to see all of the different types of environments. And I think when I picture Maine, I've always wanted to go to Maine even as a little child. And I think my mom instilled some of that love into me because she, I think, feels the very same. Like one of her favorite things and what's kind of like a soothing sound to her has always been like waves crashing against rocks. So that coupled with some of my dad's stories about traveling there and just kind of what you see in movies and books and all of that is I just pictured, you know, dark rocks and waves crashing and lighthouses and it just being a very peaceful place. And while a lot of that is true, it's slightly different in a very interesting way. But back to why the rain can be an issue, love a full circle moment. It is mostly granite rock. And when I say that, I'm not talking about like the shoreline is mostly granite rock. Like all of the mountains within the park are basically just rock. And if you're someone who hikes and you're used to kind of like a forest situation or climbing kind of soft ground, it can be quite different. And I will say if you do suffer with any type of joint pain and you want to go to Acadia, I would highly suggest getting walking sticks because that rock can be really hard on your joints, especially as you're coming down an incline. So once it's wet as well, I need to get to my point. I'm so sorry. Once it's wet as well, it's so slippery. So number one, a lot of the trails will not be safe, especially the ones with iron rungs, which we'll get to. But I would definitely try to go not in a super rainy season, although I'm not 100% sure like what their yearly kind of situation is. We did get rain the first half, but then the second half and the end of the trip was absolutely beautiful. We couldn't have asked for better weather. We had some very serendipitous moments where the weather cleared up and was beautiful. So some of the things we did. So one of the hikes that we did was Beehive Trail, and this is known for being kind of almost like rock climbing, and there's iron rungs in the different sides of the cliff and the rock to help you kind of climb around and climb up and get through the trail. Now, I will say there are two trails that I think, or no, one trail that's much more difficult, and that's Precipice Trail. It was closed while we were there for falcon mating, which I love to see some conservation, you know? So I think it was good that it was closed because we were thinking that we were going to do that one. And in all reality, definitely if you're thinking about doing some of those more difficult hikes, I would start with Beehive because you're only on kind of that difficult part for about 30 minutes. And although all of the pictures look very scary, there's two things that kind of help with this trail to make it a little bit more beginner friendly. Like, I don't think you have to be in tip-top shape. I mean, I'm not, but you don't have to be in tip-top shape or not have any fear of heights. I have a healthy fear of heights, meaning like I'm not going to go stand on the edge of something, but it doesn't paralyze me, I guess. But the two things are the trail never gets less wide than a sidewalk. So if you can walk on a sidewalk, you're good to go. And the other part is it's only a very few spots where you're actually kind of open on one side to the cliff side. The rest of the time you're climbing up rocks and you're fully focused on kind of what's in front of you. So it's really easy to forget what lurks behind you, I guess. So if you've been on the fence and you're like, I really want to, but I'm scared, I would highly recommend Beehive Trail. And then based on how you do with that, graduate to Precipice. Precipice is no joke. There was actually a death on that trail last year. So if you are going, just make sure that you have kind of the physical fitness and the mental fitness, because it's going to be a lot of mental to do Precipice. And also don't go during falcon mating season, you know, and then you'll be golden. But hopefully I will have put some pictures in here. I really wish I could fix the green that's coming in, but I need the natural light. And also can't just be cutting down trees for YouTube, you know what I mean? I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Nothing in this video needs to be perfectly matched either, but that is the finish. You can still see I'm still very dewy, but I'm telling you, when I use the Live Tinted, I shine. I shine. But I need to grab a pencil sharpener for my brow product, and then I'll be right back. All right, it's really funny to me because I broke the tip of this, which I'm still having trouble with this cap. Hold, please. I broke the tip off of this when we were in Acadia. And as you can see, I like broke the tip down. Can you see? It's like to the point where it's like hollow in some spots. Let me hide my face. Kind of. There we go. When I tell you I was like really trying to get it for one of the nights we went to dinner, do not recommend. If you've been here for a while, I've gone back and forth on my thoughts around this. I think I'm really glad I've stuck to it. This pencil was so long before, and this still seems like quite a lot of product. It's like the pencil that keeps giving. And I don't know if it's because it has that plus volumizing thing, but it does seem like it just a little goes a long way. And I think at the end of this, my final conclusion will be that I like it, but man, has it been a journey with this pencil. But wow, just cleaning up my eyebrows earlier, what a difference. Things were getting hairy, if you know what I mean, pun intended. But back to the trip. It was so much fun, but so I don't forget to say this, I ate a ton of lobster. It was absolutely delicious. We also stopped at Portland on the way in and on the way out, and we ate at the same place. It was that good. And yes, the lobster tastes different. It's so much sweeter when it is that fresh. It's crazy. And I love lobster, so you know I was ordering it every chance I got. We ate at a lot of good places. If I can find the time, maybe I'll include some kind of link to a page where I talk about or link to all the places that we went and ate, because it was really, really good. I enjoyed every place that we stopped at, and we didn't spend too much time in Portland, but we ate at the same place both times. Then we stopped at I think at Freeport, or I don't know, I'll pop on the screen if I'm wrong, the massive LL Bean store, and it has every department that LL Bean, has. And it has all sizes, petite, plus, straight, men, women, home, camping and things. And it was so fun to kind of go in there with my husband. One, we kind of broke off and did our own thing, and I got to kind of see a lot of things in person that I was very curious about. And then going through all the camping stuff with my husband, because we're going to try to attempt to get into backpacking, I think. I'm working on it. I would love for us to get into that together, but we shall see. I think we just gotta do a little bit of research, figure out where we want to go, all that jazz. But it was so good. The food was so good. Recommend stopping at those places if you pass through. It was, like I said, what did I do with my package? A 13-hour drive for us, and it was no joke. But let's open this package. All right, so I picked up a few things. I picked up 3 lips and the Christmas lip kit. Did I buy old makeup? Yes, I did. Do I care? No. I just wanted to see all the different colors. And this was about the same as buying 2 lips, I think. So these are her Hydro Glosses, I believe. We'll get into that in just a minute. And then I wanted to get one of each of the lip products. So then I picked up the Lip Quencher, the Hydro Matte, and the cream lipstick, the Cushion Cream Lipstick. So they're all kind of in a lip gloss tube. I will definitely swatch all of these potentially. And then we'll do a review video. But I also picked up the Reality TV palette. And there's not a lot of reviews on this brand, but the ones that I did watch, she mentioned that she used some of the colors all over the face, and I think we're going to do that today. Why not? I am done with work. It is Friday, and I'm going on a date with my husband after this, so we'll just play around. And the last thing is the Stay Calm Soothing Sheet Masks, Aloe Infused. Not usually a sheet mask kind of gal, but the ingredients looked good. I'm kind of really shocked at the ingredients of the skincare line. From what I can tell, and I shouldn't be surprised because I like Lala quite a lot. I actually really love her. She seems very driven. She's also a Virgo, so she pays attention to details, and the ingredients that they are using in the skincare is very impressive. So I am excited to try those Today, however, we're going to focus on this palette. And I think, let's see, this is the Pasta and this is Clapback. So there's the Pasta and Clapback. I think they're going to be too yellowy orange for me to use. Yeah, for me to use as bronzer. I don't really prefer that. So I'm actually going to use my own bronzer, and I'm in a powder mood today. So we're going to use Gucci, which I am about to hit pan on, I believe. And that's exciting. I'm going to use a Smith 154. And then after I put my bronzer on and we get into the Give Them La La palette, I want to pull up that comment. So the trip was great. I'm all over the place. The trip was great. It was a much needed break. It was crazy because I didn't really think about YouTube or work other than answering some comments while I was gone. And coming home, I sat down and had all of these ideas for both things. And that just goes to show that, like, even if you're someone who is slightly a workaholic like Moolah, sometimes the best thing you can do is kind of walk away and give your mind a break. And that's when some of your best ideas are going to flow, because you just need to kind of give it some breathing room, you know? And it was beautiful being out in nature, especially with my husband. We did a sunset hike on Cadillac Mountain, which Cadillac Mountain is kind of a staple in Acadia. And if you go, you need to reserve your car. They do sunrise and sunset on top of the mountain, and we decided we were doing a sunrise hike, and we had to do a headlamp hike for the first probably half of it in pitch black dark at 2:30 in the morning. We started, and what an experience. I'm so happy that we did that. And my husband and I actually stopped before we got to the very top and had like a very kind of private section all to ourselves. There was only one other couple, whereas kind of at the very top in some other spots, it was very packed. So it was nice to have like a quiet moment with my husband watching the sunrise and just like taking that in. And nature is just so healing, and it's such a good time. And I love that we do these trips, and we've been doing them kind of almost at like a 6-month pace, even if it's just like a quick long weekend. And it's just very rejuvenating to like the heart, soul, mind, all of it. And I'm so happy and fortunate that we were able to do this, because it did give breathing room to all the things that felt like I was barely treading water on. And some of that ties into like, I worked so hard pre-filming before we left, and I'm still getting used to this whole YouTube thing. So, next time I know that I need to pre-film a little bit more and space them out more, because we got back, and although it's a vacation, it's rejuvenating and it gives breathing room to things. Physically exhausting. Absolutely physically exhausting. And pair that with some things that we're going to get into with this comment. I just didn't have it in me to like hit the ground running with all three kind of work obligations that I have, and keep up my relationships with people outside of those work commitments. And so I needed breathing room. So thank you for giving that to me. And hopefully we're back on track, starting with this one right here. So I'm going to crack into the Give Them La La Beauty palette. And I am going to pull up that comment because I really want to address the questions that were in it. Okay, so Katie at Katie Harris 7219 left this comment on my video, and I loved it so much. So thank you so much, Katie, because this is something I think is important to cover for a multitude of reasons, and I hope it's okay that I talked about your handle. Maybe next time I'll ask first. But anyway, the comment was, as a fellow chronic pain girly, how do you manage your days on such an active kind of vacation? I use about half of my spoons for the day when I just shower and wash my hair. And she says, to be fair, there's a lot of hair and it's long and curly. Wash day is a whole process. But anyway, I can hardly imagine hiking vacation, but then again, I am what you might call indoorsy. So she also goes on to say, like, she would love to hear about how I manage my pain, how I schedule activities in my day, what to do if and when you hit a wall. And I love that you're still able to enjoy all the things chronic pain be, you know what. Look forward to hearing about your adventures. Thank you so much, Katie. There's a lot that is going to go into this. So if you follow me on Instagram, if not, it is at Rachel Ellen Rose, no spaces. It's always linked in my description box. I am active on there. You know, a lot of it is memes and things. So anyway, I posted a decent amount on my stories while we were there, and also a couple of grid posts of pictures that you have seen in this video. The first thing I want to address is those pictures. Like Beehive is a perfect example. It made it look a lot more kind of dangerous and crazy than it was. And those are kind of snapshots in time, and you got to see the best parts of the trip, right? And that's pretty common on social media, and we all should be kind of aware of that type of thing on social media. I'm going to start with my eyes while we're talking because I don't know what direction I'm headed in. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to go through what my actual trip looked like just to give transparency and how it does work when you have chronic pain. So during our 13-hour drive, started, Aunt Flo visited, and it was like, could not been worse timing. It was not the most comfortable, and I knew, because typically, like within the first 48 hours is when I have zero energy and I'm just completely down for the count. So I knew that was going to happen. So I told, my aunt when we first got there what was going on. And we went to bed regular time that night after driving 13 hours. And I was exhausted, like I knew I would be because of my cycle. And guess what? I didn't do the first hike the first day because I knew that my body needed to rest and I would be better for it if I just gave in and let my body rest, and zero FOMO. Do I wish I could have soaked up every second with everybody that was there and have done all the hikes in the park? Absolutely. Absolutely. But did I also know that it was time to just give my body the break that it was asking me for? Yes. So I ended up sitting out that first day, and it was the best decision that I could have made for myself. Then going on throughout the week, I did really, really well, actually, surprisingly so. And I didn't have too many challenges in terms of chronic pain. I think one thing to remember too is what kind of chronic pain you have. So the type of chronic pain I have really benefits from movement and blood circulating through my muscles. So it's no surprise that I didn't have any neck and back pain because I wasn't just frozen sitting in front of a computer. You know what I mean? Like I was moving my body and using my body. So I didn't have a lot of that pain, but I do have to be careful not to overdo it because day to day I am sitting in front of a computer. So I can't expect my body to just get up and be superwoman, hyped up, ready to go. Do you know what I mean? So I did pretty good. One of the tips that I will say if you have chronic pain. The first tip is you're going to have to get very familiar with your body's limits, and you're going to have to pace yourself. So we save our really hard hikes until the end of the trip. And we did Beehive with a couple other routes at the same time that were connected. We ended up hiking like 4 miles that day with like another mile or two walk back to the car. The next day is when we did our sunrise hike. And guess what? I didn't want to push it to go to the top. And it just so happened that the top was really crowded anyway. So we would get more, privacy and a more intimate moment if we didn't go to the top. So guess what? We didn't go to the top. And I'm very fortunate that I have a partner and husband who is willing to kind of work with my limitations. And it kind of paid off for both of us. So it was like a win-win, really. It's one of those rare situations where neither one of us had to compromise in the face of chronic health, which is always lovely. So just know that pictures, again, on social media are the highlight reel. And when you have chronic pain, you're more than likely not going to be able to do it all. And you just need to be aware of that. So the first tip was to be realistic and don't overexert yourself. The second tip is make sure you have some kind of stretching, muscle tension release items with you. I really love the Theragun. I used the Theragun on day 2 and 3 of hiking so that I could get to 4 and 5 without any issue. And it helped tremendously. And I think had I used it after we did Beehive in that longer trail, I probably wouldn't have had as much issues getting to the top of Cadillac Mountain. Again, I don't have regrets about that. I think we kind of got a better show, honestly, without having a ton of extra people around. But the Theragun is really helpful. And then if you don't have a Theragun, you don't want to spend the money on a Theragun, foam rolling. I packed my foam roller this time too. Those Biofreeze patches are great because you can wear them while you're on the move and doing activities. And then the last thing is, if you're going somewhere, like when we went to Yellowstone and we had to walk a lot, we had a, whatchamacallit, hot tub. There was a hot tub at the place we were staying, and what we would do is we would get up, pretty much walk all day, because once you're in the park, you're in, and it's an hour back to the hotel. We would walk all day, and then in the evening after dinner, we would get in the hot tub and just let our muscles kind of be soothed and relaxed. And it helped a ton because that was a lot of even just walking that can cause a lot of pain, especially when you're getting back into a car for however much time you're getting stiff. Stretching, Theragunning, hot tubbing or hot showers, ice packs like the Biofreeze stick-on patches, all of that is going to be your best friend, especially on such an active trip. So I think that kind of touched on it, like how do I deal with the pain, those tips I just mentioned, and then how I plan my activities, we kind of touched on. So one, make sure that you're kind of pacing yourself and you're not jumping into something too difficult right away, because then you're not going to be able to do anything the rest of the trip. I personally like to leave the hardest bit for last because I know that I can just rest when I get home. And also there's so many activities that don't require too much that you can do. It can be a light walk, go to a local museum, go get local food, like just soak in local things. And like, while I was alone and everyone was doing the hike the first day, I read. Do you know what I mean? I very seldom get the chance, unless I'm in a throe of insomnia, that I can just sit down and read a book without any noise or anything going on around me. So I just read a book, and it takes, I think, a long time to get to this place. If you are newly diagnosed or you're newly experiencing chronic health and pain issues, it's going to take you a while, and that's okay. You just have to kind of get comfortable in what your new life or your new day-to-day looks like. And that takes a lot of time, and it takes finding these little tips and tricks that work for you. But I hope that those were helpful. And please remember that social media is a highlight reel. That's like the biggest takeaway. And not every day was perfect for me on this trip, and it was still an amazing trip. Do you know what I mean? We all had such a great time. Bruno wanted a Frank cameo. There you have it. That was a mid-stretch bark. Okay, buddy, that's okay. He just had, oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Oh, thank you, thank you. Frank just had his summer pup cut because it's getting warm. Oh, so tired. He was awoken because we must have been under siege. But he's doing good. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Say bye. If you couldn't tell, he would eat an entire smorgasbord of body care and makeup if I let him. Anyway, before we jump into the next topic, what I used is Make Out shade all over my lid. The Spill the Tea peachy shade here in my crease, which I don't typically use that color and I really love it. And then I built out the outer V with 7 seconds here. What I'm noticing is this is about as deep as it gets in the palette, so keep that in mind. And I want to bring something deep in to kind of smoke my lash line a little bit. And to do that, I'm thinking I'm going to go into the Soiree palette from Dose of Colors. I just like their mattes. But I also grabbed... No, let's stick with that. I'm going to do the brown just along the lash line just to deepen it up a bit. But I hope that was helpful. We are going to do a video of kind of my recent outfits and what I wore on that trip because there was some interest in that. So I'm either going to film that tonight or tomorrow, depending on how long I yammer to you, you know? Told you it was going to be a long one. I'm actually just going to finish this eye and then we'll pick back up because I'm in the zone, auto zone. That added the perfect amount of depth that I wanted to add. I'm going to go put some mascara on and I will be right back. Okay, let's make some decision about blushes. I kind of want to try this She Swears because it does have, the shimmery shades do have shimmer, but they are not glittery. And I think they'll be beautiful on the cheeks. Or should we use that make-out color that's on my lid? Let's start with She Swears. It's a little bit deeper. I think it'll look pretty. Maybe with a little bit of Spill the Tea. Yeah, I like Spill the Tea. I think I'll add just a little bit of She Swears on top on the other side. But look, that's so cute. Love a multi-use palette. And the pans are big enough that like, it's no big deal. You know what I mean? If you were warmer toned than I am, this would be an absolutely great. Warmer tone and fair. Just remember, it doesn't go very deep if you want smoky. If you don't want smoky, could be your goal. Could be great for you. I really love that. Oh, yeah. I like that. I'm going to add just a touch of She Swears on this side. Maybe just a touch more on this side. What do you think? It's very pretty. And that little bit of sheen is like very blurring in person. I do want to add a touch more of the Gucci bronzer though. I mean, what would a video from me be if I didn't just need a touch from Gucci, you know? I'm actually going to use the same brush. Why not? The last thing I want to touch on is allergies. So if one of your chronic ailments is allergies like mine, like pretty severe, Acadia was actually an excellent place to go because there was so much granite rock that there wasn't as much grass as like where I live right now. And so I really didn't have a hard time with allergy at all. I didn't even have to use all of the tips and tricks I packed, but I will pop a picture up if you're about to go hiking, you have really bad allergies, or if you're outdoors where the wildfires are, which we're going to touch on in just a second. I ordered these respirator masks off of Amazon. These are incredible. Or the Vogue mask, which is a reusable option. I have one of those. And then also I picked up, now these do look kind of nerdy, but you know, if you're serious about wanting to get outside when you have bad allergies, then you know that there's very little that you won't do to get outside. And they're from Carhartt. They're only $11. They're dust goggles, so they fully seal kind of around the orbital bone. And they either have arms or straps, so you can get a really nice tight seal if you need to keep things out of your eyes. I was fully prepared to wear both of those things while we were hiking. Luckily, I didn't need to because my body likes rocks and not grass. So those are two things I would highly recommend. But it was crazy coming back from Maine and just immediately feeling like garbage again. And I've been really struggling. Really struggling, especially with the wildfires and that stuff in the air. I think our area had the worst air quality in the United States for a couple of days, and it's just been a wild roller coaster ride. So hopefully everyone is staying safe. I hate that these wildfires seem to be becoming more common. It breaks my heart, like the animals, the plants, like it breaks my heart that the plants go through this. Even though some trees, interestingly enough, are designed to go through something like that, it breaks my heart. And I hope you're staying safe. I hope if you're struggling like I am with the allergies, with everything in the air, that you're getting through it okay. But I don't want to end on a sad note, and we will not, because I picked up something very exciting. This is going to be wild to edit and cut down because I have no idea. So hopefully the pipe sounds are gone. Let me start over with this product. So I would love a little razzle dazzle on my collarbone, shoulders, décolletage in the summertime when some skin is out, you know? And usually nothing is brightening enough or light enough for my skin tone. And the other side of the coin is that a lot of them are in lotion-like consistencies or oils that transfer, they don't dry down, they remain sticky. I just don't like that. So I saw someone on TikTok talk about this product, and it is from Versed. If you don't know, Versed is a sister company to Merit. I don't know the ownership situation, but the founder was the same. So they're related in a sense. Maybe cousins now, who knows. However, this is the Mood Lighting Lumizing Glow Drops in the shade Golden. There are 2 shades, one deeper and one lighter. I got the lighter one in Golden, and it has peptides and blackberry extract. A lot of people are saying that these are like the debronzy drops. I find that these are much more kind of warm and golden. This is probably very similar to the golden version of the Victoria Beckham primer. We can talk about that one day if you would like. I was not a huge fan. For the cost, I think this would be a nice kind of potential solution if you don't want to spend money on that, but you want kind of that golden glow. So you can see it here. It does add a bit of color, but it is a nice, healthy glow while it's wet. And when it dries down, it's just a nice shimmer that I don't think is going to transfer as much. So I don't know if it's going to show up on my décolletage, but let's give it a try. Also, I think I paid $15.99. Oh, deep. It's deep. I paid $15.99, and for that price, I don't mind putting it on my décolletage. You know what I mean? How much do you get? You get a fluid ounce. So honestly, it's probably closer to the Fenty Glow Sauce price-wise than you would initially think. But I just want to get some on my shoulders and décolletage. What I would love a product like this to do is like lightly even out my skin tone without making me look like I need to bronze the rest of me to look nice, but to add like a nice little sheen. I think it did, but let's add a little extra. Like obviously, I don't know that I would be using this every single day, but for special occasions and date nights, if you're someone who doesn't really like an oily consistency or a tacky consistency, this dries fully down. I have tested it on the back of my hand a couple of days. Yeah, see that nice just like glisten? Very subtle. It's going to be, I'm just very fair, you know? But ooh, even my hands now are like just pretty, just a nice reflective glow. If you have a little bit deeper skin than I do, it's gonna look absolutely gorgeous. Also, no scent, which I like. All the other ones, you know, even when it's summer, I don't like being married to smelling like summer, if that makes sense. Like I'm not a huge coconut girl anyway, so I appreciate that it's unscented. So far, I'm really liking this. I am hardcore praying that my mic is just not catching any of that pipe noise, but I'm so sorry. It really is one thing after another, especially as a homeowner who bought a project house that's a slightly older build. You know, plumber's coming on Monday. All right, let's get into lips because I've kept you here far long enough. So in the cream cushion, I got the shade High Maintenance, which is this one right here. I was very excited about the nude choices she has, but I know that she's also deeper than me, but that looks so good. It's like a nice sweet scent, but not very strong at all. Then I got the Hydro Matte and Come On Over. I'm very excited about this, and I hope it's as pretty as I thought. It's beautiful. That's going to be so beautiful for fall. It's like an orangey red, but deep and toasty. Then I picked up her Lip Quencher and Drenched, which is the clear gloss. Ooh, this one has kind of like a sweet coconut scent, honestly, but I just want to know what this one feels like. And it can kind of prep the lips while I contemplate other decisions, you know? Speaking of smelling very summery, it smells very summery. It's definitely like pina colada vibes. Not sticky at all. Gel-like, not as gel-like as the Fitglow. But probably, honestly, very similar to N Beauty, which is surprising. I like it. And it's very shiny as just a plain lip gloss. I feel like, for me, I don't think to buy clear lip glosses because a lot of times my lip gloss is what I'm wearing on my lips and nothing else, so I like them to have color, but you know, you can never deny a clear gloss. It's just good to have. Okay, then I did pick up the Christmas of the Hydro glosses because I couldn't pick between a pink like this one down here, which you know is my favorite, or trying some of the nudes. It's hard because pictures on the internet rarely do it justice, and with a line that you can't see in stores and where the pictures look kind of photoshopped, you can't trust the colors. So I did get this, which is probably 6 months old at the very least. Honestly, no, it's probably like 10 months old, so I'm not going to have probably a lot of time with these before they start to go bad. But you know what? I wanted to test them out, and I'm more likely to go through a small tube like this than a tube like this because I just have so many lips in my collection. Is what it is. I will say these are very, very light and kind of somewhat chintzy feeling. The palette felt fine. Honestly, it felt just like a Juvia's Place palette or something like that. You're not going to get super luxury, but you're also not paying super luxury, so I think that's fair. These, I think for the price, I'd like to see a little upgrade on packaging. She did just recently move to this marble top. You know, it is what it is. I'm only going to swatch a few of these because really today I'm going between which nude I want to wear. Let's be very honest. So first I have Vixen, which is very pretty. Then we'll do Dancer, which these just look good. Honestly, if you're a nude lip lover, I do think these might be worth checking out because they do feel nice on the back of my hand, and the smell. These ones smell like gingerbread cookies, which is so fun. Okay, so first up we have Dancer, or no, I'm sorry. It goes Vixen, Dancer, Prancer, and then Donner, which is that beautiful pink. And then the last one I'll swatch today is Dasher, and it looks like kind of a frosty metallic. Oh yes. This is like very 2000s lip, very frosty. So down there is Dasher. Look how fun those shades are. See, the nudes are quite warmer than I expected. I love that pink though, and I cannot get over these top two. So I actually think what we're gonna do today is I'm going to wipe off the clear gloss and we're gonna do the cushion cream, but I'm gonna try one of the Hydro glosses first just to see texture. Okay, just for texture, let's try Dancer. This honestly looks somewhat similar to Victoria Beckham Bikini, but probably a little warmer. The smells are so interesting. I was just expecting like vanilla for all of them, but I kind of love that they're a bit festive, I can't lie. Okay, there's the Hydro Matte Lip Gloss. It feels more creamy, like it feels like almost like a lip gloss stick, if that makes sense, but I actually really like that color. Thought it was going to be too warm, but it's very pretty and it is pigmented. I love that, but I want to see what this cream cushion feels like next to that because I could see these, if you overapply, getting a little gummy, but let's do the Hydro. No. The cushion cream. Said I wasn't going to review, and I feel like I got really off topic, but I want to try this cushion cream. It's going to be very nude. Oh, no. This is a very center of the lip thing, but honestly, I kind of love it and love that it's nude enough for my very pale skin. Let's add a little of the gloss that I just had on. It's very lightweight, I will say, that cushion cream. And it's not drying on first application, but we'll do a full review of all of these. I feel okay with that. It's a very, very pretty color combination. All right, folks, let's wrap this one up in a tidy bow, shall we? It has been a wonderful afternoon of hanging out and playing with makeup. All right, so I'm not going to do a round robin today. Everything I used is linked and listed down below. Everything that I used, I love up until the point of the Lala Beauty and the Versed. I'm still working out full thoughts, but you'll have to come back. You'll have to come back, subscribe, and come back for that. I am very bad at saying subscribe, hit the follow button, and the bell, but you know, all those things really help me out. And I appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you giving me space. Coming back, it just felt like I hit a wall. I'm struggling today. I woke up with a migraine and I couldn't breathe. This is the longest my allergy season has gone on for quite a while, but super interesting. I don't know what's going on because the pollen count's low and not every day. We have a lot of smoke from the wildfire, so who knows. But there's so much more that we need to catch up on. We'll just have to film another Get Ready With Me, I guess. And hopefully tonight or tomorrow I will be filming the outfits that I've been wearing recently, especially with some sales that are coming up. So I hope that you're doing so well. I hope this was fun for you as much as it was for me to get to relive that trip a little bit. And I hope I didn't forget anything. I was all over the place today. So if you made it this far, thank you so much. Drop a hiking boot down below, you know? And I hope you're having a wonderful weekend, start to your week. And I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.